the 1995 film that made every romantic believe in love at first sight and changed indie cinema forever. But the true story behind it will break your heart. The woman who inspired the film died in a motorcycle accident before she ever saw it. Ethan Hawke and Julie Delpy rewrote the entire script, and the ending was written at 3 a.m. on the final night of filming.
Are you trying to say you want to kiss me?
Today, we're uncovering 20 shocking facts about one of the most romantic films ever made.
All the clocks in the city began to whir and chime.
Fact 1. The film is based on a real encounter that ended in tragedy. In 1989, Richard Linklater met a woman named Amy Lehrhaupt in a toy shop in Philadelphia while visiting his sister. They spent the entire night from midnight until 6 a.m. walking around the city talking about art, philosophy, literature, and life, just like Jesse and Céline do in the film. Linklater was 29 and Amy was 20. They kissed passionately, exchanged phone numbers, and tried to maintain a long-distance relationship for months, but life got in the way and it eventually faded. The memory of that magical night stayed with Linklater for years. Tragically, Amy died in a motorcycle accident on May 9th, 1994, 1 year before Sunrise was released. Fact 2. Linklater didn't know she had died until 2010. For 16 years after the film's release, Linklater had no idea Amy Lehrhaupt was dead. He sometimes wondered if she'd show up at a screening and say, "Hi, I'm Amy, remember me?" He fantasized about that reunion. It wasn't until 2010, 15 years after the film came out, that one of Amy's friends who knew about their encounter wrote Linklater a heartfelt letter telling him what happened. He was absolutely devastated by the news. When he made Before Midnight in 2013, he dedicated it to Amy's memory. The end credits read, "For Amy." Fact 3. Kim Kreisen's real experience inspired the plot structure. Co-writer Kim Kreisen, who had small roles in Linklater's earlier films Slacker and Dazed and Confused, actually lived a similar experience that shaped the film's structure. She rode around Europe on trains meeting people, and on one trip, she met a Norwegian man on the way to Paris. They ended up walking around the City of Light all night, talking about everything under the sun, just like in the film. Kreisen has never revealed whether they had a romance that night, keeping that part of the story private. She's also never reconnected with the Norwegian man who helped inspire her contribution to the story. Fact 4. The script was written in just 11 days. After spending months discussing the concept, characters, themes, and structure, Linklater and Kreisen finally sat down and wrote the entire first draft screenplay in only 11 days of focused writing. Linklater specifically wanted a female co-writer because the film is so much a dialogue between a man and a woman, and he felt it was absolutely essential to have a woman's perspective on the story. He didn't want it to be just a male fantasy. He wanted it to feel balanced and authentic to both characters. Fact 5. Casting took 9 months of searching. Finding the right Jesse and Céline took Linklater a full 9 months of exhaustive searching. He had serious trouble finding actors who could carry an entire film through conversation alone without relying on action, plot twists, or visual spectacle. When he first considered Ethan Hawke, Linklater actually thought the actor was too young for the part. But after seeing Hawke perform in a play in New York City and spending hours talking to him about life, love, and philosophy, he completely changed his mind and knew he'd found his Jesse. Fact 6. Ethan Hawke and Julie Delpy rewrote the entire script in 2016. Julie Delpy revealed something shocking during an interview. Ethan and I basically rewrote all of it. There was an original screenplay, but it wasn't very romantic, believe it or not. It was just a lot of talking rather than romance. Linklater hired them specifically because he knew they were both talented writers and wanted them to bring genuine chemistry and romance to the film. The original script was more philosophical and detached. Despite completely rewriting the dialogue and making it romantically charged, Hawke and Delpy received no writing credits for the first film. Fact 7. They spent 3 weeks rehearsing. In Vienna, once cast, Hawke and Delpy flew to Linklater's hometown of Austin, Texas, where they spent 3 intense 14-hour days just talking about life, relationships, and getting a starting point for the characters. A month later, all 3 flew to Vienna for 3 full weeks of intense rehearsals before shooting even began. They walked around the city together, improvised scenes, and continued rewriting dialogue. The rehearsals actually continued throughout the entire filming process, with the trio constantly refining and improving scenes. Fact 8. The ending was written at 3 a.m. on the final night. Because they shot the film in strict chronological order, there was a lot of deliberation and uncertainty about how the story would end. Should they kiss? Should they exchange numbers? Should they promise to meet again? By the last night of shooting, they still hadn't finalized the ending. Linklater told the New York Times that the newly formed screenwriting team stayed up until 3 a.m., just hours before they had to shoot, writing and debating the final scene. Fact 9. The film takes place on Bloomsday. The events of Before Sunrise occur on June 16th, which is Bloomsday. This is the celebrated day when James Joyce's groundbreaking novel Ulysses takes place, following Leopold Bloom's meandering journey through Dublin over the course of a single day. It's a very deliberate literary reference by Linklater, connecting this deceptively simple love story to one of the greatest and most ambitious novels ever written about a single day in someone's life. Fact 10. Linklater confirmed they kept their December date. After the film's release, many viewers obsessively wondered, did Jesse and Céline actually meet again in 6 months like they promised at the train station, or was it just a beautiful lie? Critic Robin Wood wrote that after he published an essay analyzing the film, Linklater personally wrote him to say neither he nor the 2 actors ever doubted that the date would be kept. They absolutely believed deep in their hearts that the characters would show up in Vienna in December and reunite. Fact 11. The film was made for only $2.5 million. Before Sunrise had a tiny indie budget of just $2.5 million, incredibly small even for 1995, yet it looks absolutely gorgeous, with beautiful cinematography and feels so intimate and real. The film only made about $5.8 million worldwide during its initial theatrical release, which was disappointing to the studio, but it became a massive cult classic through word of mouth, repertory screenings, and home video, eventually influencing an entire generation of romantic films and dialogue-driven independent cinema. Fact 12. Linklater makes a cameo playing foosball. Richard Linklater appears briefly in the bar scene when Jesse and Céline are playing pinball and having their awkward but charming conversation. You can see Linklater playing foosball, table football, in the background. Adam Goldberg from Dazed and Confused also has a quick cameo. He's the guy sleeping on the train in the opening sequence when Jesse and Céline first lock eyes. Fact 13. The producer complained about the terrible service. Producer John Sloss also makes a hilarious cameo. He appears as the stereotypical complaining American patron at Cafe Spurl, loudly whining about the terrible service to anyone who will listen. It's a funny inside joke about entitled American tourists being difficult and impatient in relaxed European cafes where service moves at a different pace. Fact 14. Ethan Hawke couldn't date in the 90s because of this movie. In a revealing profile with Elle magazine years later, Ethan Hawke complained that after Before Sunrise and Reality Bites came out, he literally couldn't meet women authentically anymore. He said, "I can't tell you how many times in the 90s I'd meet somebody, we'd be having a nice time, and they'd sigh and go, 'This is exactly like Before Sunrise,' and I'd have to get up and leave." He became so associated with the romantic ideal of Jesse that real dating became impossible. Talk about your work following you everywhere. Fact 15. Vienna was chosen for film subsidies. Linklater seriously considered several different cities for the film's location, including Philadelphia, where he met Amy, San Antonio, and various European cities. Part of the reason Vienna was ultimately chosen over more obvious romantic cities like Paris, the availability of generous film subsidies from the Austrian government, money talks, even in dreamy romantic indie films. Fact 16. Jesse never gets the bar's address. In the memorable scene where Jesse promises the bartender he'll send him money for the expensive bottle of red wine they drank, he never actually gets the bar's address or any contact information. It's a small continuity error that most viewers never notice, but if you think about it, there's no way Jesse could actually keep that promise. Fact 17, they made love in the park. We don't explicitly see Jesse and Céline make love in the park during that tasteful fade to black moment, but the morning after scene makes it crystal clear that they absolutely did sleep together. Look closely. Céline is wearing her black dress in the morning, but not the white shirt that was underneath it earlier. The only way she could have removed that shirt is if she'd taken off the dress completely. Fact 18. The film won at the Berlin Film Festival Before Sunrise, premiered at the Sundance Film Festival in January 1995 to positive but quiet buzz, but it made an even bigger impact at the prestigious Berlin International Film Festival the following month. Richard Linklater won the Silver Bear for Best Director, a major honor. The film also received an MTV Movie Award nomination for Best Kiss, bridging the gap between art house credibility and mainstream appeal. Fact 19, it has a perfect 100% Rotten Tomatoes score. Before Sunrise currently holds a perfect 100% rating on Rotten Tomatoes based on 50 professional reviews, with an average rating of 8.4 out of 10. That's incredibly rare for any film. The critical consensus reads, thought-provoking and beautifully filmed, Before Sunrise is an intelligent, unabashedly romantic look at modern love, led by marvelously natural performances from Ethan Hawke and Julie Delpy. It's considered one of the greatest romantic films ever made. Fact 20. Jesse and Céline appear in Waking Life. 6 years after Before Sunrise, Jesse and Céline mysteriously appeared in Richard Linklater's experimental animated film Waking Life in 2001. They have a beautiful 4-minute scene lying in bed together talking about reincarnation and the nature of time. Since Waking Life is entirely about lucid dreaming, and Before Sunset reveals they don't see each other for 9 years after Vienna, this scene is considered to have never actually happened in reality. It's likely Jesse's dream or fantasy about what could have been. And there you have it. If you loved this deep dive, hit that like button and subscribe for more movie facts.